Hi everyone, so this is a brief overview of how to install and to basically get Squarespace and HubSpot working correctly. I think that you've seen a shift in a few years of organizations that were traditionally opposed to something like Squarespace because of the limitations that are built into the platform. The catch-22 is that Squarespace is like one of the easy content management systems and website systems to be able to build. It's relatively cheap. You don't have to worry. It's all self-managed hosting. But there does become a point whether we're using HubSpot or Pardot or even smaller, lighter MA systems like Drip or Mail to use it with Squarespace, and they don't necessarily play well together out of the box. And a lot of that is due to the limited number of options that you have, or there's no button you're going to click on the Squarespace side that suddenly says, hey, would you like to connect this to your HubSpot account? And it kind of takes care of it. No, none of that really exists. And so this is about trying to make those systems work. And it's relatively easy. If you have a technical background or even a non-technical background, we're literally copying and pasting the code. So there's a couple of prerequisites that you're going to need to make this work. So the first is having access to the advanced section of your site. So you should have access. Certain Squarespace plans, especially the lower tier plans that might be called basic, will not give you access to the advanced code injection area of your website. And so when we think about adding code injection, as we're essentially taking code from some other system, whether that be CSS or JavaScript or anything else like that, and we're basically importing it into here. So next step is we'll need to be able to go to HubSpot, and I'm going to demonstrate this with the demo account. In your demo account, you should have access to this cogwheel at the top right corner. That cogwheel will get you access to your tracking code. So we're just going to hit that. And then we're going to go down to analytics and tracking over here. It's on the left-hand side. And then we're going to go get that tracking code. And so what this tracking code does is a couple of things that I think are the most relevant for marketers. The first thing it's going to do is really be able to track analytics, right? There's some analytics that exist on the Squarespace side. I think some of those feel like they're a little bit limited, like they're really designed to allow you to see how many people come and where they come from, but you're not going to get anything like advanced segments or custom filters or anything else like that you would have in like a GA4 or a more advanced or an Adobe Analytics or anything else like that. So one, we'll be able to see some sense of traffic that goes to the site with this. And two, and this is the most important part, we'll be able to get form submission data. One of the advantages of using this script and installing this JavaScript on your Squarespace site is that when people submit forms in Squarespace, that data should automatically come over to the HubSpot side, which will make your life 10 times easier as you're trying to manage what feels like a limited set of options on the Squarespace side and translating that to the HubSpot side. So in this particular case, all we're going to do is literally click it, and then we're going to click this gigantic, unmissable copy button. There's also an option to email to your web developer. It's literally the exact same thing. And then we're going to jump back over to the code injection of our site. This is my site because it runs in Squarespace. And we're just going to hit this, and then we're going to save that code. Once you set that up, then everything from your native forms will be able to submit and everything else like that. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can technically set this up. I think this is actually the better of the two just because of its simplicity. When we look at Squarespace, there will be certain metrics that will be available because you are essentially using a Squarespace form, and then HubSpot is essentially tagging onto that data and pulling it into that system. You technically could do the opposite of this and create embeddable forms in HubSpot and install those into code blocks within the site. What I don't love about that particular outcome is that you don't really gain anything on the HubSpot side. It's not going to tell you which pages that these form submissions happened, although if you're doing it correctly, you likely have forms associated on a per page basis. The other thing is that you will lose data about things like button clicks and conversions from the Squarespace side. Again, not the most robust system on the planet, but in terms of being able to get like a broad swath of being able to say, we've had 10, 15, 20 new visitors in the past week, and we've had 7 form submissions. Where did the form submissions come from? Using those HubSpot embeddable forms makes it unreadable to the Squarespace side. So again, once you have this code installed here, it should pretty much work seamlessly out of the box. Again, limitation of doing this if you are doing native pages in HubSpot and you are building them in the hub system, it will show you to say, hey, this form is actually physically existing on this page, even if there's a form submission that isn't happening, which gets helpful for diagnosis. But again, I think for most people, this is the simplest outcome for being able to integrate the two systems. That's it. Feel free to leave any comments if you have any questions about how to set this up. Thanks.